What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is having a good day thus far. So we have another horror movie trailer review and reaction to do today. And as you can see from this headline, new trailer for first ever Irish language horror film. And this is the Irish word. It means the ghost drives you to insanity. So just a quick side note, as you know, on some of these international films, I do my best to pronounce the words or actors and actresses' names the best that I can. In this particular one, I'm not even going to attempt to try to pronounce some of these Irish words. So I just want to set that out there before we get into the article details and in the trailer, just to avoid any potential possibility of offending somebody if I mispronounce. So just want to put that out there. So as you can see, this article was just published about an hour ago, so this is pretty new information. So let's jump into the article details before we go look at the trailer. So a new trailer has arrived for The Ghost, a supernatural chiller set at the tail end of the Great Famine. The period set ghost story doesn't just draw from history, but makes it as well. The Ghost also has the distinction of being the first ever fully Irish language horror movie. In the film, amid the barren landscape of post-famine Ireland, a father and daughter struggle to survive the brutal winter as caretakers of a remote mansion, only to be driven to the edge of sanity by the horrors lurking within. So a couple things before we move on. You guys all know I love period piece films, even outside of horror films. I love period piece films. It's one of my favorite things to watch. But the fact that we've been getting more and more lately, I've noticed we've been seeing period piece films that happen to be horror films, and this is going to be another one of those. But and you also all know I do love folklore horror films, that subgenre. We have been doing some movie reviews on some of those folklore horror films. Most recently, we did a British one. I think we've done an Irish one as well. I don't recall if we did, but I know we did a British one with Matt Smith starring in it, probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. You'll have to check out, I think it was Starve Acre. I think that's the name of the film. Great film, great horror film. It's not one of those slashers, you know, masked villain chasing people up the stairs and random people just falling down for no reason. It's one of those very heavy psychological horror films, folklore. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But I feel like this is gonna fall within that genre as well, kind of like the folklore, period piece, psychological horror films. But the fact that it's gonna be the first one in the Irish language, I think that's just another box checked for me. I'm highly interested in stuff like this. So watch the gorgeous new trailer and images below, which indicate a rather violent ghost problem ahead for the father and daughter duo trying to survive harsh conditions. The intensity escalates, seemingly intent to drive its characters to insanity. Okay, so we have typically what we normally get: producer name, actor, actress's name, who's going to star in it. The film is described by Fright Fest, where it made its international premiere as a bone-chilling tale set against the haunting backdrop of Ireland's infamous famine era, 1852. Then we have the names of, looks like the father and daughter name. Again, I'm not going to try to pronounce those just to avoid any offense. Embark on a tranquil caretaker role at an isolated mansion during the unforgiving winter months, but their peaceful assignment unleashes a nightmare of supernatural proportions as a malevolent force awakens within the mansion's walls, stirring dark secrets from the past. With every creaking floorboard and flickering candle, suspense tightens its grip, leaving Sandy hanging by a thread. All right, so and again, I love the psychological stuff, especially when you have the characters starting off normal, and then whatever is happening throughout the film just drives them further and further to insanity. I think those are just fascinating films. All right, so we have a little bit more information. Looks like the rights for this has been acquired for worldwide sales by Toronto-based genre specialist Raven Banner and Firebook Entertainment after its successful festival run, with release details on the way. So we don't have any details as far as when this will get released. I'd imagine 2025 this year, since we're getting a trailer for it. Whether or not this will be theatrical or just straight to digital, don't know. But thus far, regardless of how it comes out, I'll be seeing it. This will probably, if it just makes it to digital, this will be an immediate buy for me. This will not be a rental. I will outright just purchase this because, again, it's checking the box out on a lot of things I'm interested in. All right, so let's get back to the top of the article. So we have, oh wait, we have those images at the bottom. The article mentioned there were some images. Let's go down there. So here's the trailer. All right, so we have some first images here. This must be the father and daughter, I'd imagine, but it looks like he's got her, I don't know if she's chained to that rope or if that's a chain or if that's just a way to keep I mean, I can't imagine that's just to make sure they don't get separated because, I mean, there's no fog, there's no major storm here. It is winter time, but it looks like she might be chained because her arms do look a little bit up. Okay, we have cemetery. It looks like a cemetery here. Unmarked I'm saying unmarked graves just because there's no names or anything as far as like headstones to identify who's there, but they are marked as far as the cross goes. And this must be the daughter. Obviously something's happening in the middle of the night. And then this must be the father in what looks to appear to be a massive library with all these books and bookshelves behind him. And just based on that smile he's got, it already looks like he might be going downhill as far as insanity goes. So I will put the link for this article in the description of this video. So if you want to come back and look at these images a little bit more closely and read through the article again, you'll be able to do so. But let's go ahead and get into the trailer and see what this film is about.
Ga be hillen toe van teach go dí seo.
Sprála mé.
Sin mai. Má lena mí ar aile leis an obair. Bena Fitzwilliams tóchalin. Bonach an obair céanna tá mí na dhéanamh inis. Speisian é séasach. Ní bhfuil sé ag go fór freisin.
Alexander Rush.
Sé seo ceanna na saoileachta atá agan. Líon atá sé chalí.
Yeah, so that's only a minute and 30-second trailer. That's a pretty intense trailer. While there's a lot to unpack there, the imagery, the cinematography, I think is great. Especially a lot of those outside shots, whether they're in the woods, we're seeing like the large landscape with the forest off in the distance. We did see that scene though from that picture where they were walking. It did look like in the trailer she was chained, and they are walking within a storm. Obviously in the picture you can't tell that, but yeah. And we also saw when it was going through all those quick snapshots when she was screaming as far as the various quotes. It was on that last one. This is going to be considered a folklore subgenre as well. So glad to see that. Wow, again, a lot to unpack there. They obviously seem to start off fairly normal. And it looks like they're both experiencing something different. She's obviously experiencing the entity as far as actually physically doing things. We saw her being dragged a couple times. She's in the library. It's talking to her. When she was in the room in that one still image that we saw, it looks like what she was looking at. We saw a different vantage point where her cupboard door opened. But then when we see him, he's going down more the insanity road. He must have been seeing something. So we see him in a room where it looks like he was maybe sitting in a chair and he's holding like a glass jug and he's screaming and trying to crawl or back away from something. But one of the most eerie shots is when he's outside cutting or splitting wood, and it appears that the axe went right into his foot. And I'm sorry, that is cringe as anything to do with feet as far as having chopped off or cut like that. Yeah, that's pretty tough to watch. But yeah, this one looks pretty intense. As the trailer went on, he seemed to be spiraling further and further down from an insanity perspective, while she's fighting more of the entity perspective, whatever it is, ghost, spirit, what have you. So they might be having two different experiences, but we also, as the trailer ended, we saw him in the library having a freak out as well, which we anticipate that might have been it from that still image, because we did see that as far as one of the pictures goes. So we don't have an idea what's happening there. Very dark film. I mean, there are some aspects where it is happening during the day, but it seems like the vast majority of what's going to be happening here, as far as the psychological stuff, scare factor, is going to be happening when this is all happening at night. And the fact that it's a period piece happening in 1852. Obviously, there's no electricity. They're walking around with oil lamps, especially in the opening sequence of this trailer. It seems like she's down in a lower level of this mansion where something was chasing her, because we saw it briefly when we were looking directly at her as she's running towards us. We saw something behind her. Couldn't tell if it was the dad or if it was somebody else, but whoever it was, she was running from it and only had that oil lamp to give her any sense of light. So I am all in for this one. It's already on the notepad. It's already on the list. I will be monitoring this one as far as when we can get a date and what status it will be released on. If it's going to be theaters and video on demand, or if it's going straight to video on demand and streaming. As soon as we know, we'll come back with an update, but drop a comment in the comment section and let us know what you think about this film. Again, the name translates to The Ghost, and it's the first Irish language horror film. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Every little bit helps. And thank you to all the new and current subscribers to the channel. It is greatly appreciated. And we will see you at the next one. Peace.